Welcome back. This is Michael Williams and 21 Steps to Start Speaking More Smoothly and Confidently. And in this last step, I just wanted to take several minutes to kind of summarize what I see to be some of the key concepts or principles or techniques that we've talked about in this entire series. Some of these things that I'll be sharing with you in this video will be from conversations I've had, from comments, or from feedback, and just some of the things that I think are just critical that I really want you to get. And the first thing is really starting out with step one. Now, I'm not going to do a review of all the steps, but I will look at a couple. The first one is this thing of hope, right? This idea of having hope. The reason that that's important is that if we don't have hope that things will get better, then chances are we won't really try. We won't be persistent. We won't be perseverant in making them better, because we'll feel like, well, I tried this before, I tried that, it's not really, I'll try this a little bit, but I don't think it's going to work. And then when it doesn't work as quickly as we'd like or as well as we'd like, then we give up. But when we have hope that it can work, that eventually it's going to work, then we're able to stick in there. So how do we develop this hope? Well, we can look at other people and say, okay, I see other people improving in this area, and if they can do it, then I can do it, right? So we look for confirmation and affirmation in what others have accomplished. Now that may not work for some people. So here's a second way. We look and we see, okay, are there some specific steps that I can take, specific actions, behaviors, and thoughts that I can practice on a daily basis, that if I practice them, eventually I'm going to get this result. It's a natural law that if I do these things, I'm going to get these results. Can I find the steps? Can I find out what I need to practice so that I can achieve these results? Because if I can, and if I commit and I practice them, eventually, what? I'll get those results. Here's an example. Playing the piano, learning to type. If you learn the proper techniques, right, and you practice them over and over, you will learn how to touch type. As long as you have all of your fingers, as long as you're able to move your hands, and you practice, you will learn to touch type. Same thing with the piano. You learn the notes, you learn how to type, and you practice, you will learn how to play the piano, okay? Everything that you've learned, you learn because sometimes we learn things by accident, right, just by doing it repetitively, but many things that we learn because we practice something over and over and over again, and then we got the results. Just knowing that can give you hope. So knowing that if I practice these steps over and over again, I will start to speak more smoothly and confidently eventually. It might be harder, it might take longer than I want, but eventually I'll start to see some results. Okay, so hope is very, very important. Something else that's very important, and that is the 3P formula. And you'll hear me mention that in virtually every program. And it's really a specific way to affirm yourself, to affirm a specific behavior or outcome that you want to see. 3P formula. Let's review it real quick. First P is first person, I. Second, present tense, am. Third, positive, right? I am an excellent speaker. I am more confident. I feel great, right? I'm a genius. I'm great at this. All of those are affirmations. I like myself. Those are affirmations. Why are they important? Because many of us spend a lot of our time saying or thinking negative things. So when we're thinking negative things, we're actually talking to ourselves and we're saying negative things. What I want you to do is take control of that natural process and start saying more positive things to yourself, right? Why just let your thoughts go their own way and affirm negative things? Why not take control of that and affirm positive things? Even if it doesn't work, it's better than affirming negative, right? But it does work, right? Because it's how we work. So what we do is we start saying, I'm an excellent speaker. I'm a confident speaker. And what will happen is that your subconscious mind will start to fight that. It's your comfort zone, right? Believe it or not, where you are right now is where you're comfortable. It's where you've been. So when you start to think and say something different, you literally start to fight against yourself. But you have to keep fighting, because eventually you start to reprogram, or you start to overwrite those old thoughts, those old patterns of belief. You start learning a new behavior. In a very physical sense, your brain starts to make new connections, which can be a little difficult sometimes, right? But it starts to make these new connections. So as you tell yourself this, there's a physiological side that's actually happening in your brain. And the reason that you want to use first person present tense, because you're the only person that can say I. I can say I, and I'm talking about myself. I can say you, and I'm talking about you, but you're the only person that can say I. So when you say that, then it has a certain power, if you will, a power of suggestion, that you're suggesting something to yourself. And as you say that, as you say, I am this, or I do this, you eventually start to believe it, and you start to make it so. It's almost like it's happening right now. That's why we're using present tense. It's like it's happening right now. And so your mind starts to look for things to support that, to affirm that that is actually true. And it starts to work to make it true. So that's very important, the 3P formula. Something else that impacts how you speak is your confidence and your esteem, your self-confidence. Your self-confidence is going to come from affirming, but it's also going to come from performance. So the more chances and the more times you speak, right, and you speak and you practice speaking successfully, the more confident you'll become. Okay, that's why the practice is important. And you can practice conversing, if you will, but I like practice presenting because it gives you a degree of fluidness when you're speaking. Okay, so if you practice giving a presentation, you do it by yourself where you're probably not going to stutter, you're probably not going to be that nervous. What you're doing is this is another practice session. This is another opportunity for your brain and your body to practice, just like practicing on that keyboard, right? And the more you practice, the better you'll become, right? So then you'll start to see, hey, I can speak fluently and I can speak successfully and confidently. And the more you do that, then the more you have to build on, right? So then when you go out, you are going to be able to speak more smoothly and confidently, at least a little better than what you were before. I was just talking to someone who doesn't speak a whole lot because of stuttering, right? So of course, if the person doesn't speak a lot, then they're not having much practice speaking. So they have to practice speaking. Where do they do this? You start out by yourself, right? The other thing that can help increase our confidence, believe it or not, is finding something that you're passionate about. Find something you're passionate about. Find something, or include in that, something that will help other people. Become an expert at it, and then share it with other people. Find something you're passionate about. Make sure that at least one of those things includes something that can help other people. Find out and learn as much as you can about that subject matter, and then share it with other people, right? As you do that, you start getting out of yourself and getting into other people, into helping other people. And as you sow serving and helping other people, what do you reap? You reap back esteem and confidence. Okay, so as you give to others, others will begin to affirm you and literally build you up. And this is not a bad thing. Okay, I'm not talking about blow your head up like as in, you know, you're the greatest. I'm talking about that as you give and as you build up other people, then you start to feel good about yourself. You start to feel good about your contributions. You also are shifting your focus from yourself and from how you speak to, wow, you know what? I feel really motivated and really passionate about this subject, so I need to be able to speak better so I can communicate this to other people. So you have a motive to push you towards becoming a better speaker, right? And the motive is that you want to help other people. And as you help other people, they're going to say, man, you're really good at this. You're really great at that. Thank you for helping me. So you feel good. You stop thinking about yourself. You start thinking about the other person, and the cycle continues. So I'd like you to watch this video again so that you can catch all of what I just said, because it really does have a direct impact on your esteem and on your confidence, which has a direct impact on your ability to speak fluently, smoothly, and confidently. Okay? Let me just look through here and see if there's anything else that I want to highlight. Really, I'm just highlighting a few things. And I think that I've highlighted everything that I want to highlight, but I do want to challenge you and encourage you to go back, watch all of these videos. None of them are really that long. I don't think there's any of them over 15 minutes. Most of them are fairly short. Watch the videos, listen to the audio. Someone says, well, what's next, Michael? Well, we have something called the New Speaking You Elite Program, and here's what that contains. It's specifically to help you create presentations, to be able to speak more effectively when you're doing presentations. But it also includes all of my other programs. It includes this program, it includes the DAM strategy, and it includes the Power Coach approach. It includes the guidebook, so you can get in there, watch, listen, and download all of those other programs in the New Speaking You Elite Training course. Well, what's beyond that? Well, I have a client in South Africa who'd like for me to be his speaking coach. So he and I Skype, and I'm his private speaking coach, and I hold him accountable for achieving certain goals. So that's what's beyond the New Speaking You. Hopefully this series has been helpful for you. I've enjoyed doing it. Please feel free to leave your stories and your comments below these videos, and share this resource with other people. Once again, thank you very much. Thank you for joining me in 21 Steps to Start Speaking More Smoothly and Effectively.